When it comes to rom-coms, Hallmark is the first channel to cater all of your needs. But Netflix has come through lately with great storylines and an even better star-studded cast. These are the Netflix romantic comedies that Hallmark fans will love. We're going to start off with an inspirational quote from the director of A Night Before Christmas. He said, "We can't limit our belief system to things within our understanding. We would have never gone to the moon like that." That's the most powerful message in the movie, not to limit our belief systems. And I simply can't agree more. The movie is bonkers and delightfully so. Sir Cole, a knight from 1334, time travels to present-day Ohio and meets a science teacher, Brooke, after she accidentally hits him with her car. The doctors think Sir Cole has a head injury, which is why they're not worried when he says he's from medieval times. So they think his memory will return in time and he'll be back to normal. But days go by and Sir Cole still claims he's a knight. Brooke starts to wonder whether he's telling the truth until, and spoiler alert, she realizes he very much is. But can they have their happily ever after? This is one movie that will surely make you believe in magic, whether it is the magic of love or time travel. It's up to you to decide. Up next, we have a delightful movie, because what can be better than landing the perfect date during the holidays, right? And that's where our next movie, Holidate, comes in. In this movie, Sloane is heartbroken and Jackson is not into commitment. So the gods of meet cute conspire to make them each other's holidates. That is, they agree to be their platonic dates for every occasion that year, but strictly nothing intimate. Because intimacy always leads to an emotional mess, and under this arrangement, the pair enjoy each other's company through Valentine's Day to New Year's parties. Emma Roberts and Luke Brace have a sizzling on-screen chemistry to keep you hooked till the very end. The ending has a bit of a surprise twist, and you'll best enjoy it with a glass of wine and a group of friends. But with this movie, you gotta be prepared for a combination of laughter and awkward chuckles. Luke Bracey thinks that this movie sets some high standards.
What I think I love about this film is that it kind of turns a couple of the traditions of the romantic comedy on its head, the big sweeping romantic.
But if you're looking for some Christmas cheer that is loaded with emotional depth, then this next movie is just for you. Single All the Way is about Peter, who is preparing to enjoy his first Christmas with a boyfriend who has agreed to join him back in New Hampshire to see his family. But Peter's best friend Nick discovers that his new man has been lying to him, forgetting to share the tiny details of his heterosexual marriage. Peter is heartbroken, but determined not to be the only single person at the table, and so he brings Nick back with him. He then concocts a lie that he and Nick were now in a relationship. But don't worry, no cliches are repeated here, because Peter's mom immediately sees through their facade and sets her son up with their haughty spin instructor. While Peter and the gym hunk hit the New Hampshire slopes, Nick spends time with Peter's family, and they grow to love him even more than they had before. Is Mr. Muscles the Christmas miracle for Peter, or has his perfect match been waiting under the mistletoe right in front of him? You're definitely in for a treat with this one. The White Lotus fame Jennifer Coolidge makes a boisterous appearance as Aunt Sandy, and her scenes are like frosting to a Christmas cake. But if you have always been charmed by the breathtaking beauty of Rome and have never had the chance to visit, then you can now discover it through Lena's eyes in Love and Gelato. Her mother had a transformative trip to Italy in her 20s, and besides having everyone dressed in the color pumpkin spice at her funeral, it was also her dying wish that her daughter follow in her footsteps after graduating high school. Despite being socially awkward, Lena finds herself navigating Rome using her mother's journal as her guide. She tries to find her father and learn more about her mother's past, while also dealing with a complicated love triangle of her own. When it comes to her romantic interests, the film successfully creates intrigue around it, which will keep you guessing until the very end. I guarantee this is not your average falling in love story. It's about self-discovery and, of course, a whole lot of gelato. But let's spice things up further, shall we? What's better than visiting a Scottish castle? Owning it. This next movie, A Castle for Christmas, follows acclaimed American author Sophie Brown. An on-air breakdown on the Drew Barrymore show causes her to rethink her creative life. She has to take a break and get her mojo back, you know? So she drops everything and travels to Dunbar, a tiny town in Scotland where lies the castle in which her father was raised. He was the son of the groundskeeper and had a thing for telling romanticized stories about his childhood. inspiring her future endeavors as a writer. She hopes that this little getaway will allow her to reconnect with her family history and work anonymously, but she eventually falls in love with the castle and buys it, because why not? To make things deliciously complicated, the property is owned by the cash-strapped Duke Miles, and Sophie can only take over as a proprietor once she's proven she can handle the upkeep. Oh yes, that means sharing a living space with Mr. Frosty Duke himself. Cozy landscapes, welcoming locals, festive aesthetics make this movie a delight to watch. But this next movie that premiered with an all-star cast is a must-watch if you are a die-hard Netflix fan. The movie premiered with an all-star studded cast, most notably comedian Jimmy Yang and The Vampire Diaries fame Nina Dobrev as leads. Nina's character, Natalie, is a writer who goes on a series of bad dates and maintains a constant column about them. She then meets a dashing man named Josh online, who is both incredibly attractive as well as super hilarious person to talk to. Slowly, they get to know each other, and what was casual texting becomes long conversations. One of these conversations was so long that Natalie fell asleep and Josh decided to not hang up and continue after she woke up again. Isn't that sweet? But wait, she has nothing to complain about Josh. And this made her boss so furious that he pushed her to travel 3,000 miles to meet the guy. Turns out, Natalie was being catfished the entire time. What happens next? Well, this is sort of a spoiler-free zone, so you need to stream and find out. It's hilarious, heartwarming, and even has a love actually inspired ending. Won't give away who Nina ends up with, but will leave you with the cast trying to hit on each other, and you decide whose chemistry you liked better.
Nina, it's the season of giving. So, why not give me your number?
Ooh. Jimmy O. Yang was equally good.
I hope you still believe in Santa. Can I touch you in this? Like, is that part of the charm?
Are you asking
Thank
for
you
my
for asking for
Are you asking for my consent?
Yes.
You have my consent.
I hope you still believe in Santa, because I'm a rebel without the claws.
But again, there's nothing as beautiful as falling in love. I mean, falling in love, which is our next movie on the list. This charming rom-com follows Gabriela Diaz, an eco-conscious designer with dreams of creating self-sustaining buildings in her hometown of San Francisco. But when Gabriela's job and relationship falls apart in the span of a week, she consoles herself with a Nancy Meyers level volume of wine and enters an email competition offering entrants the chance to win a historic New Zealand inn. As you might have guessed, the next morning, she discovers that she's the winner. When she arrives, she's met by a local contractor and all-around dreamboat, Jake Taylor. A cute surprise. But there's also a shock. What she thought would be the end of her dreams turned out to be a crumbling fixer-upper with a living goat named Gilbert. What happens next? Follow her journey to entrepreneurship, love, and much-needed zen, all against the picturesque backdrop of a rural New Zealand. And as you're on it, you'll also learn the importance of taking a break from the rat race, slow down, and maybe even fall in love. Who knows? Christina Miller and Adam Demos have an impeccable chemistry and seem like they instantly became friends based on their first impression of each other.
I mean, he's so like handsome and tall and brooding, and I'm like this little short, like, okay, hi, nice to meet you. But
we agree, Christina. Who wouldn't be intimidated by his charms? Speaking of which, gone are the days when fairy tales centered on a handsome prince from a far-off land rescuing a beautiful distressed damsel from a life of misery. Now, our women rescue themselves. Our next movie is enlightened, enchanting, and entertaining. And these are the 3 words that best describe the royal treatment. Izzy is a beauty salon owner, delivering good haircuts, donuts, and smiles in equal measure to friends and family. Her Italian heart of gold keeps her world turning. But recently, she's been wrestling with a pressure-filled offer to run the local community center, a treasured place that will cease to exist if she doesn't take up the job. Around the same time, Thomas, the Prince of Lavinia, is visiting New York City for his engagement party. He's also struggling with a major life decision, whether to go through with an arranged marriage to hotel heiress Lauren to satisfy his parents' demands. The gods of chance intervene and he finds himself in Izzy's care for a much-needed haircut, and soon she and her pals find themselves in his whisked away to his country to style everyone's hair for the wedding of the century. As you might have guessed, sparks innocently begin to fly, but the pair's destinies become further entangled. will duty overshadow love? It's refreshing to see that the female characters like Izzy and the bride-to-be aren't catty or combative towards one another. Overall, this should be definitely on your watch list. Till then, enjoy Mena Massoud giving us some fun little behind the scenes from the set.
Our last scene, and we got something pretty interesting here. We got a steady cam. Laura's gonna dance with the steady cam, which is supposed to be me.
Then you're gonna dance with the steady cam.
And then I'm gonna dance with the steady cam. We're all dancing with the
But imagine getting paid for day drinking in exotic locations. That's exactly what Lola does in Stuart McDonald's A Perfect Pairing. She is a wine sales executive, but between her controlling boss and backstabbing coworker, she has had it. Now it's time for her to go start her own wine company. Way to go, girl boss. She decides to go out to Australia to nab one of the biggest clients of her ex-boss, Vaughn Wines. She doesn't even have her license yet, but what she does have is a no-quit mentality. Lola says that she will go to any length to land the contract and subsequently becomes a farmhand at the Vaughn's family sheep station. In time, this California girl finds her place among her rugged colleagues and falls in love with the rugged and mysterious local, Max. It has all the hallmarks of a perfect rom-com, a dreamy, almost unreal job, exotic locations, and a cathartic happy ending. And did we mention it? Adam Demos and Victoria Justice are a perfect pair. And finally, we have the perfect movie just for you. A movie made for women by a woman, The Holiday. Have you ever had those moments of realization that your self-worth is not tied to one person or experience? Feels pretty incredible, right? And do you know what else is incredible? That we keep rolling out some of the best content from the showbiz. So to keep yourself updated with all of our latest videos, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Back to the story. The plot follows Amanda, played by the beautiful Cameron Diaz, who is a movie trailer maker from Los Angeles. She breaks up with her cheating boyfriend and finds herself in need of a vacation. Over in London, Iris, played by the charming Kate Winslet, needs a break from Jasper, who constantly uses her. And so, after a very brief interaction online, Amanda ends up in Iris's picturesque cottage in Surrey, where the latter sets off for Amanda's Beverly Hills mansion. Let the adventures begin. When asked where they would actually go if they had the chance to swap houses in real life, the actresses said,
"Where would you want to go?"
Well, Cameron, earlier I overheard her saying that she'd like to swap with Jack Black, and I'm kind of thinking that's a good idea.
Yeah, his life. To see just how crazy and funny and outrageous it is.
I want to wear a blue leotard and a mustache.
I want to have my gut jiggle and not care. At all. I would definitely like to go to sort of a great old apartment in somewhere like Rome or Paris.
I actually had an apartment in Rome when I was doing.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's video. Which one of these is your favorite? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Until next time.